Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today me and Dalco are having a flatwork lesson with BHSI coach Tracy Rivet. Tracy actually taught me to ride when I was a young child, so I've been having lessons with her since being about 4 years old. So we know each other really well. She knows Dalco very well. She has helped me enormously over the years with him because he was a very tricky young horse. It's actually been quite a while since my last flatwork lesson. I actually can't remember the last time I had a flatwork lesson other than being at camp, because we have focused on Dalco's show jumping recently because that was the area that was more problematic. But he has now come really consistent with his jumping. So I'd now like to focus again on our flatwork and dressage this summer to help improve that. Next weekend, actually, the yard that we are on livery at is hosting a stressless dressage competition. So depending on how this lesson goes and what the weather is like this week and if I can actually ride, because we're in the middle of a heat wave right now and it is super hot. So I'm having this lesson in like the early evening. It was about 7 p.m. here and it was still 20 odd degrees. It was really warm. So yeah, depending on how the week goes and if I'm able to actually ride and practice and how Dalco behaves in this lesson and how we get on, I am planning on entering the dressage next weekend, though I will probably only do an intro or a prelim test because it's been about a year since we've actually ridden through a dressage test. We entered a couple of local level riding club competitions last summer. So yeah, that's the aim, but we will see how we get on. So we have a quick catch up with Tracy, who asks what we've been doing recently, how Dalco's been going, have we got any aims, ambitions, what are we working towards? And then I warm Dalco up in the same way as I always do, walk, trot, canter in a light seat on each rein. I always start him off in a light seat because he does naturally carry a lot of tension over his back. So I always do this before asking for any collection from him. Once Dalco was nicely warmed up, we then have a bit of a breather and a walk break. And then this is where Tracy has a bit of a catch up. She gives me some feedback of what she's seeing from our warm up and then puts a bit of a lesson plan together based on what she's seen and what I've told her that my goals and ambitions and aims are. So again, in today's lesson, very similar to our camp flatwork lesson with Tracy, we focus a lot on transitions because they really highlight Dalco's weaknesses. He does hollow and go quite tense over his back through transitions. So we start with walk to halt and then we progress trot to halt, which was really good for practicing the dressage test for your final centre line. And Dalco was actually really good. He does normally go quite wiggly, even on a straight line. His flat work is just not very established. But he was really good, and he was doing some quite nice square halts as well, which actually quite surprised me. And then we worked up to canter transitions. We did some walk to canter transitions, really making him engage his hind end and work from behind, which he was really good at. And it's really good doing those to make sure that he is really engaged, he's obedient, and he's listening to me and he's off my leg because he is really backward sometimes and he's always behind my leg. I'm having to sort of hassle him all the time to keep going and to maintain the rhythm because it just naturally kind of dackers off. He's not a very forward thinking horse, sadly. So I was really pleased with these. I thought there was a big improvement from the start to the end of the lesson, and Tracy agreed. Even when he did hollow, like this last transition, for example, he did hollow a bit, I was able to get him back down onto the contact quickly within the next stride, whereas previously it would take me like a good few strides to settle him back down again. So the tips that Tracy taught me throughout this session was, one, a really strong lower leg, even when preparing for a halt transition, and two, inside flexion. That really helped when preparing for trot to canter transitions. I thought he stopped hollowing at all when I had inside flexion. So was really happy with that, and then we let him have a really nice long stretchy trot to finish and then cooled him off on a nice long loose rein. we've just finished our flatwork lesson. Dalco was really good. We are always going to have sticky bits where it's a bit tense, but I think that's just his nature and I don't think we will ever truly eradicate that. But it comes a lot quicker now. So like previously it would take nearly the entire lesson for us to get any real nice work out of him, whereas now you know, we can get sort of past the warm-up and then it starts coming and it lasts for a lot longer, so we're able to get a lot more nice strides of things rather than, you know, working forever to get one stride and then it's gone. So he's so grumpy, he wants his tea. He was really sweaty. It's really warm today, although it's early evening now. I jumped off him and hand walked him to cool him off because he's very sweaty, and then popped him in stable. He's just had a roll, so I'm just going to quickly wash him off. He's being cute now. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly wash him off and then tuck him in for the night. But you've been a good boy, haven't you? Okay, so thank you so much for watching and we will see you soon.